Last three and first three trading days of the month and why they matter. Check it out.
This is Dan Max, the trading agent. This is a stock trading and recap channel that I wanted to share to the masses. In a probability game, there's no certainty. Here are my insights and predictions.
This is Dan Max at eXp Realty, aka the trading agent, doing a back to basics series on the last three and the first three trading days of a month, why they matter, what to keep an eye out for, and just in general what I've learned from trading for 20 years about this kind of last 3 days and first 3 days of the month. Why are they important? Well, first of all, the last 3 days of any month is going to lock in gains. Money managers, traders, statements come out, all sorts of things come out to end a month. Typically, financial advisors, hedge funds, whatever you want to call it, their statements go out at the end of the month. Well, that psychology needs to be understood so that you can realize why the last 3 days of the months might be certain ways. And one of the things that I tell people is that if something's doing really well into the last 3 days of the month, don't be surprised if it gets some profit taking. And if it's down a bunch, maybe it pops some. Those kind of things are typical because just human nature. If you've got a good month going and you want to lock in some gains, same thing with end of quarters, same thing with end of years. I mean, they're just more pronounced. So that kind of thinking has to be understood. So the last 3 months or 3 days of the month can be pretty choppy. But then also too, what matters about the first three trading days of a month? Well, what happens? New money comes in. People's accounts get drawn on, their just any account that goes into some sort of 401k, IRA, that automatically deposits. It's usually the first of the month, and that money gets put to work. So think of your job situation where, say, your employer matches your 401k. That money goes in every month. Well, the first 3 days of the month is when that money is usually put to work. Now, again, not always, not every time, but the psychology is that people like to front run this money because it usually comes in and it's a buying tendency. So if you think of the last 3 days of the month as choppy and the first 3 days of the month typically as rising, you can kind of see what's going to happen. And what I was taught and to watch for is that the end of the month, if the last day of a month is a Friday, you expect more selling than not, always. Because, again, it's the lock in the month. People have to, they'll wait to the last minute to take those gains. And the average trader doesn't think about this because they're not running a hedge fund and they don't really make money. They don't see how their performance needs to be locked in and how it has to be, gains have to be taken for specific reasons, because maybe there are redemptions and they need cash. Maybe there are circumstances where the hedge fund wants to be at a certain point for the next quarter, or the institution's thinking, like, we need to raise cash. Well, they're going to do it at these times. And so it's really simple stuff. It's not meant to be super complicated, but it's interesting if you go look at charts and you look at some of the daily stuff. You notice, we're going into the last couple of days of the month. Well, look what happened. Sell, sell, sell. We're going into the end of November. What is probably the beginning of December going to be? Pop, pop, pop. I mean, you can come back here. The last 3 trading days of October, down, down, down. Then it popped up. We started the build back up. I mean, you can go back through this and you can see tops. Here's a top. People pushed their money in. And then, boom, exacerbated. I mean, again, you'll notice there's a lot of little reoccurring patterns with the last 3 days and first 3 trading days of the month. It's not every month, but keep that in mind. Just know about it. I mean, it can be choppy like the end of May. It can be, sloppy. It can be toppy. I mean, I always tell people, just think about the time of the year. They matter. And so if you're going into, say, here's an example, the end of quarter in March. Let's look at the last couple of trading days. The market was down, and then boom, started rallying. I mean, here you go. Bottom the first couple days of, started dropping end of February. Bottom the first couple days of March. Is it an exact science? Absolutely not. Here you go. End of January, down, pop. This phenomena, if you go back and study it, again, it's not like you're sitting here thinking, anything for certain with 100% certainty. That's not what this game is for. Look at this. End of October, bottom, ripped up. Here you go. End of September, bottom, ripped up. I hope you're seeing that. I'm just I mean, I know this stuff so well. I didn't even prepare for this. 'Cause I know that's what usually happens. I mean, here you go. Run up into September. And here's my point. Tops and bottoms can be usually marked by the exacerbation of the moves by the money flows. And that's where money flow matters. And I mean money flow, just knowing how the water flows, like the seasonality of the tides, the seasonality of the river with the spring versus the fall. I mean, that's what money does. It flows, it ebbs and flows. And it comes in and it follows certain orders based upon parts of the month. And you have to think about it. If you're a money manager, you're John Doe LLC, and you have to pay out some, hey cat, you have to pay out some redemptions, or you have some money that you want to put to work in the next quarter, well, you're going to raise that cash at some point, and you're preferably going to probably do it near the end of the quarter, especially if the markets are up. So hope that helps. Again, the first 3 days, last 3 trading days, just be aware they can be choppy and volatile. They can be toppish. They can be bottomish. They can also just be nothing. And that's sometimes what happens. It really just depends on where you're coming from. But going into the end of the month, what do you think makes sense when the market started getting choppy? I know there was news, but it always seem like you can predict like the news? And this is what I always tell people. It seems like the news is always in your favor when you're right. And that's the thing. The news seems to line up like that because you're following the markets. So I wouldn't be surprised if maybe we end up down a little on Monday, look for turnaround Tuesday. Again, last 3 days, first 3 trading days of every month. Just be aware. They can be choppy. They can be sloppy. They can be inflection points. I hope that helps, and I'll see you guys in the Discord room. Please give me a subscribe and follow. I appreciate all your help and love with this channel. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for watching. Please subscribe if you like the content. Also smash the like button, share with your friends, and add a comment. If there's a topic or stock you'd like me to give you insight about, let me know in the comment section. I'll do my best to answer your question. Thanks.